day with me. I still need a cute girl my day. I never wanna hear you say I have.
Well, I guess I'll just jump into it. This is a pretty massive topic. We are going to be talking about the most chronicled, documented human
Jinx
to ever live.
Yep.
Period. Like, period. And so this was like very difficult to even figure out how we're going to set this up. So I think with some discussion, we've landed on, we're going to set up ChrisChan's, like, the eras. We're going to start from birth to kind of mid 2000s to establish a good foundation so everyone can kind of understand what is going on, because if we don't, it's going to be a madhouse. So
Seth,
yeah.
Real quick, what I have no idea who this person is or like any reference for this. Like I'll like, if for someone who's listening, can I just get a real quick rundown? Is he a Twitcher? Is he a game? Is he like,
no.
What is he? Like, what is this even? Is he a bodybuilder? Is he like a movie star?
You could summarize it, I think,
This is
easily
him right
enough
here.
to have like, yes.
I don't have a picture. I can't see anything.
Well, just imagine it.
Okay.
Imagine it. So,
Okay.
Welcome to the magical land of locals. Internet
Yes.
figures that have been heavily documented. The reason why they're called locals, because people on the internet milk them for laughs. They like self-awareness. They're not very responsible for what they're doing in general. And they just come up with the silliest, usually racist, usually dumb, sometimes illegal stuff on the internet, and they just can't help themselves but posting it online. And it can be any platform: YouTube, Reddit, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, you name it.
So that's what this guy did,
Mm-hmm.
or does.
Well,
did or does, or doing.
No, it's more complicated than that, because the way it started was kind of like, I mean, I guess it was YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't. It was a PSN account, wasn't it, Lily?
I was gonna say, yeah, it was like, at first it was very innocent, but as the year went by, there's just so much to ChrisChan that he's very easy to push around. It's funny to me. I love it.
So when you say PSN, like the PlayStation Network?
Yeah, he had a PS3 and the PS3i, and he would upload rebuttals, for lack of a better word. So okay, hold on. All right, so that's what I'm saying.
Now?
We got to have the foundation for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You may have to do an intro before we start this madness.
Okay. So, all right. We'll preface this by, I didn't really know how to, like, researching for this actual episode. We got into from birth to childhood to teenage years, and if you were to know someone that was like this, you would probably have a lot of empathy. So I don't want to just like rag on him. It's super easy to, because he's completely asked for it several times, but he doesn't have like the ability to learn from mistakes. I've never seen anything quite like it. Like, even in my personal life, usually you get burned enough times and you really learn not to do that thing again. He doesn't have that ability. He's also trans now, so that topic will come up. And, you know, there's people that are in the camp that is not a very genuine thing, the way that unrolled and the reasons why he's doing that. And also, we're going to be talking in like past and future tense, so I'm just not going to like focus in too hard on the pronouns, but just so the listeners know, that's what's going on. a lot going on here. Most people listening to this will probably know who we're talking about, but for the ones that don't, this is going to be quite the journey. Okay, Lily, Megan, we are going to, first off, this is Megan.
Hi.
And then the rest of us are going to dive into this. So ChrisChan was, first off, that's not his real name.
Seth. Sorry, I should have made it clearer. When I asked you to make an intro, I literally meant you should say welcome to That's Effing Weird.
I love it.
Lately we've been just like slow fading in like some hyper pop into it and rolling with it, but this is That's Effing Weird.
I like it.
That was perfect because that's like a news station when they're like, "Are your kids on crack?" Hi, I'm Jeff. Whatever, and like that's what just happened. So I love it.
And with that, this is That's Effing Weird. All right. So we're gonna start in 1982. Bob and Barb. Bob and Barb are recently separated. Actually, no, they got together at a bar that they frequented, and they left each other's marriages and started going together and eventually got married. As a result of this union, Chris was born. Chris Weston Chandler.
Yes.
But was it?
It's Christopher Weston Chandler.
There we go. Christopher Weston Chandler is his full name. And
his birth name.
So there's going to be a whole lot of new names coming up. So just so you know, it's a little, asking his name is kind of complicated. So Bob and Barb, they eventually got a place. They had ChrisChan, and then they kept on this nightly bar routine, so much so that they eventually got a babysitter. The babysitter was not the greatest. Was she the one that convinced him that Casper was?
Yes. No,
Yes.
that's a different one. There's a lot. Hang on.
We just gotta keep going. We don't have time for this.
At 18 months old, Chris was locked in a room filled with just toys. I don't know if it was a closet.
It was a closet.
And the lights were turned out by this abusive babysitter. That I think they simply go by like Roach. I think is how they.
I think that's who everyone refers to them as. I don't know what their actual name is.
So because of this, he stopped speaking for 6 years. He states that this traumatic incident is the source of his autism.
So now we've
hold on. I'm no medical doctor, but aren't you? Isn't that something that you're just born with? It's not something that like you can kind of develop. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, you're very correct.
It's definitely something you're born with.
Okay, all right.
You can't catch it. Yeah,
you can't catch it.
But ChrisChan feels they feel that this is the source of their autism.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the things Bob was like super stoked about this. He apparently had like a heart condition leading up. How old was Bob at this point?
Oh man,
because
they were both pretty old when they had Chris and his brother. What was his name? Joseph, something like that. They were already pretty old. So
yes.
He was up in there. Let's see.
I'm going.
Yeah. So all right. So also, so the listeners have something to reference in terms of notes while she's looking this up. We have an outline, but the majority of this information comes from the Quick, which is an entire Wikipedia dedicated to him.
You can just go to sonicchu.com.
Yes. And it is an entire Wikipedia with multiple tabs, with multiple I don't even know how to begin to describe when you just go there. It's like if you actually went to Wikipedia, but it's all about one person.
Virtually every character in the ChrisChan story has an entry in the Quickie website. It's very detailed. Most of it is up to date. I'm seeing that in some mentions. We'll talk later about Barb's unfortunate passing, but in some of the entries, she's still alive. It still says present in her date
Wait,
of
Bob
passing,
or-
but most of Barb.
Okay.
Most of it is up to date.
Yes. So Bob was born in 1927.
1920.
He was what would that be in 82? It doesn't matter.
Probably
It-
his
60
Yeah.
something,
60,
close.
yeah. So and also at this point, I mean, he wasn't just like he was not in good health at the time. So he was looked a lot older than he was. His mom was, I don't know, like how many years younger than Bob at the
She was
time.
in her 40s.
Yeah.
When they met.
And then they had Chris, the babysitter, the whole thing that supposedly causes autism. And then we're going to start kind of leading into like the Nathaniel Green era. So Nathaniel Green, when they had to start getting him into a school, the Bob and Barb fought the school administration tooth and nail on what exactly was wrong with Chris. Like they didn't want him, but for instance, they wanted him to be in like special ed and attend like a completely separate part of the school. And this occurred a few different times during school changes, with the parents fighting the faculty. So he essentially kind of stayed in a normal school structure. And then we lead up until he starts making media appearances. Okay. This is we're just gonna have to power through this foundational part. It's okay.
You want to go into the autism?
Well, no, let's.
Okay.
Well, all right. You go ahead and do that, and then we'll jump into the media
I will
appearances.
touch on the autism, like when he was officially diagnosed with autism. He begins attending speech therapy at James Madison University sometime after this traumatic incident, because by age 7 he begins speaking again. And he was diagnosed with high functioning autism. The doctor stated that Chris would not make it to high school or be able to write his own name. However, Chris goes on to accomplish these things.
Yes, and just to like pat Chris on the back for a second, as that diagnosis where he's probably not going to be able to ever write his name. To this point, I mean, of the comics that I've downloaded, they're almost 1,000 pages worth of comics and words that he has made into. And all right, I'll touch on the comics a little bit later, but the comics are almost like his therapeutic outlet. If you read them, they mirror his life and what he's going through, and it's almost like how he processes whatever's going on that's slightly traumatic.
For example, girlfriends or important figures around him.
Yeah.
I think a bully makes an appearance, and was it the superintendent of the school or something like that? An authority figure of a school he was attending makes an appearance as well in the comics. So it's just like you said, it's an outlet for him, and he's very creative. He's come up with, he's come up with a lot, and his hyperfixation would be on Sonichu, and he also liked Pokemon Pikachu.
Yes.
Hence Sonichu, the creature that he created.
Okay. So, all right. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know if I sound distorted or not. I had to switch headphones. Okay. So just so we can kind of just dissect what we just talked about real quick. So there's the guy that we're talking about. His parents
Chris
were in a previous marriage. They left to hook up with each other, and the bar that they would frequent at, apparently they would get a babysitter. Babysitter caused this trauma that he attributes to what caused his autism. And
they truly thought that it exacerbated whichever, like he's on the spectrum obviously, but they truly believe that what he went through with the babysitters, plural, is what really made his autism so intense. for a while. He was
Okay.
very recluse. He did not talk. He did not speak with anyone. He would just play, and it really came in later that he was able to talk and really be creative and start to, being extroverted again.
And as a coping skill, he would do these Sonic comics.
Yes, and we're going to get into the detail on the Sonichu comics in a little bit, because I believe it was in the Nathaniel Green elementary era that the speech therapist finally got some traction in getting him to speak again. Is that right, Lily?
I think so.
Okay. So all this is going on. He's now attending school, and now we're going to get into the public appearances, like when he actually pops up in the news and whatnot. In 1993, the Richmond Times-Dispatch detailed a story of, so there was basically a family fun center type thing. There were these animatronic bears, and the guy that operated the animatronic bear misheard Christopher as Christian. So from Chris saw that as a sign to change his name to Christian Weston Chandler. So and that's like a big deal because this is like the first like changing in names, and also so first time he was in the news in any capacity, and I believe that was a newspaper.
He was very young at that point, just very young.
The bowl cut and everything.
Oh yeah.
He got in the news because he thought a bear said his name was wrong.
Yeah, so this is a small town, and it was like a small local newspaper where in 1993 that like basically made a nice, hey, this kid, this local kid,
story.
like yeah.
The bear was called Leonard Bearstein.
Yeah,
it's I think the animatronic bear is like it's supposed to be a famous conductor or something.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like. Yeah.
Oh, it's the bear. It's the Berenstein Bears. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yep. I know what the Berenstein Bears are.
And so, also, just want to touch on just kind of to prepare us for the trolling that will happen later on in his life. He one of his first friends, her name was Sarah Nicole Hammer. And this is when he was pretty small. She was like, I think, a next door neighbor or something. She convinced Chris that Casper, the friendly ghost, lived in the crawl space under her house. So he goes under her house and she locks him in under the crawl space. And that is what is considered his like first trolling. He's been trolled a lot. We'll go through that. But he has stated he has no ill feelings towards her despite this, and considers her a good friend, a lifelong friend, actually. So
he's so gullible that he got himself locked under a house until I believe her father came in to rescue him. I think so. So it's just a common theme in ChrisChan's story that he just falls for the weirdest quote unquote pranks.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of this.
Now, I keep seeing this so far is that like, all right, the babysitter's locked him in the closet. His friend locked him like in the crawl space area. Is this his words or is this like actual truth that has been like investigated by someone?
So here's the thing. The story is just littered with unreliable narrators. So piecing together stories that we got from Barb, from Chris himself, and I believe from neighbors as well, we're able to kind of have a consensus of what happened. But of course, some of it is just going to be left to guessing. Did that happen that way? Was it that intense?
Okay.
To illustrate how many people are around him constantly gathering intel. Like, I know today that he picked someone up from the airport. I saw a video of it. Like, there were people that infiltrated his church and interviewed, like, with hidden mics, Bob. Like the level of the internet interfering in his personal life is unreal. So there's like Lily said, there's like all these different sources being compiled, and to my knowledge, like Kiwi Farms, which was basically that was a split between the Quickie, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So
The Quickie is like the initial Christian Western Chandler, CWC, and it just became Quickie, as in
Yes.
Wikipedia. And I do believe you're right. Initially, it was on the Kiwi Farms, which is just a forum notoriously either harassing, making fun of, or just following internet characters. And then the Quickie was built to really center around ChrisChan.
You just nailed it right there. He is an internet character.
Yeah.
That is what
Yeah.
he is.
Wait,
Or they are, you know.
was Kiwi Farms' predecessor Encyclopedia Dramatica, or is that still its own thing?
I am not sure about that. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, so okay, and also like 4chan had a heyday with all of this. So there are multiple sites that hosted and paraded all of the antics that went on. But okay, just bear with me here. We're gonna plow through to the next media appearance in 1993. Richmond Times Dispatch. Okay, whoops, nope. In 1994. He was documented on the news winning a Sonic the Hedgehog promotional sweepstakes. Now, this is a big deal because he wouldn't stop talking about this for an extremely long period of time. I believe he won a sweepstakes that it was like a promotion for Sonic the Hedgehog. I forget if it was like one of the particular games that came out, but he won an EB, like a electronic boutique gift card at the local mall.
Yeah.
And he went on like a huge shopping spree. And then later on in I think it's a magazine, Poke News, he was written about playing with tournaments with people at the local gyms. But he was 17 at the time and playing against much younger children. And then all the way to 2005, Nintendo Power Magazine, he wrote into the magazine detailing how their games cured his fear of talking to girls. He also, the year after, submitted in 2006 an Animal Crossing gameplay video with voiceover showing all his stuff that he built and characters. And this is the first kind of public referencing himself as Sonichu. This whole video game thing where he narrated over it is argued to be one of the first Let's Plays, which is kind of crazy.
He's a pioneer.
Disgusting.
So all right. So later on, he publishes an issue explaining Sonichu's origin. So, all right, we're going to go back a little bit now that we got the media appearances out of the way, just so like, you know, he's starting to kind of like, I don't even know what you call this. It's notoriety, but so he started this comic, which back in elementary school, one of his first OCs, like his original characters, was one of the characters of Sonic merged with a different Pokemon, and I forget exactly what.
Was it Bionic?
I don't remember.
I think Bionic wasn't created until high school.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
Was it the white OC, or is that after?
No, it was like this brown hedgehog thing with a bionic arm. That's why I'm thinking you're right about the Bionicles, which is a subgenre of Legos.
Do you want to talk about the elementary school?
You go ahead and do that.
Okay.
I'm going to turn.
Okay, so let's get into elementary school, shall we? From 1990 to 1991, Chris attended Nathaniel Green Elementary School. However, And he only attended the 4th grade here, but his parents had to pull him out of classes there due to a dispute with the school. Chris states that he was restrained by school staff who recorded his screams and made him sit in the principal's lap. This incident sparked Chris's homophobia. Chris is notorious for being very homophobic over the years.
They called him gay.
Yeah, he claims the principal was a quote-unquote pedofork, which is a pedophile and dork combined.
Interesting.
And he claims that
That's
this
clever.
incident
I gotta give it to him. That's clever.
He claims this incident with the staff of Nathaniel Green Elementary was one of the most traumatic experiences of his life. The Chandlers, Bob and Barb, his parents, went to court over this event. And the county that they lived in, Greene County in Virginia, wanted to send Chris to a special school. But Bob and Barbara took this as him being sent to a nut house, quote unquote. So Chris was then homeschooled through 5th grade while the court proceedings were happening. And then after this, Chris and Bob, so just him and his dad, moved to Richmond, Virginia to continue Chris's education in a different school system since they were having so many issues with, I guess, this school system in particular. So he began 6th grade at Providence Middle School. And at this point, he had a teacher there named Virginia Janine Sanford, who had helped him develop social skills and cope with bullying. I don't think she helped him enough, though.
No.
Didn't seem
And
like she did
he
much.
does call her one of the most influential people in his life.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there was in this middle school time period, did win that Sonic the Hedgehog sweepstakes. That's when he was appearing in the media. So he was already in middle school by this point. And then we get to high school.
Mhm.
I have a bullet point here that highlights something very important. He attended Manchester High School from 1996 to 2000. And in March of 2000, Sonichu is born, which is what Seth is wearing right now. The Bionic the Hedgehog was created during this time as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of Sonichu, I guess, art.
Yeah. So the other thing to understand about the whole Sonichu thing is there was the initial comic released issue 00, but then in 01 he explains the origin of Sonichu, and during this big battle with this giant monster, a Sonic the Hedgehog and a Pikachu collide into one another, creating Sonichu. He also has no concept of intellectual property rights or pre-existing characters, so that is important as we move forward.
Yeah, this
Oh,
Sonichu was created as a original character for a school project, and
Yes.
he has been obsessed with it since. It
And-
is his whole identity.
But also that he was disqualified from that contest,
Yeah.
which caused quite a ruckus with him himself, because to him it was like, well, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I
Mhm.
created this, and so then we get into the comics being issued out, which are all hand drawn, and they're kind of incredible.
I will just show a little piece of his art here. If I don't know if everybody can see, I showed this earlier.
Mhm.
Alex, I don't know if you can see this, but this is
No.
an original piece of Sonichu art right here that Seth has obtained.
Wait,
I don't know
so,
if it's from the
like-
comics.
So there's
Did you buy some off of him
there's
or
like
something?
constantly stuff being drawn and written for Sonichu, but it doesn't always make comics. And right now he's in the process of retconning all of the original comics. So I don't know what's going on with them right now.
Oh, there's
I
My
just
Little
know,
Pony.
yeah,
I
the
don't
My
think he
Little
knows.
Pony, Transformers, Sonic the Hedgehog.
So where did you get that?
Pokemon, and what other
There's Stark and
Yeah, there's
Wayne
Stark
Industries
yeah.
in here.
So there's a lot going on. in this special world that he's constructed, which is also based in Cwcville, which is
Cwcville.
a weird rendition of Ruckersville, Virginia, his hometown, and elements of his local mall, which if you get into this, the local mall is in itself iconic because several in-person troll jobs happen there, which and it's also where he spent his electronic boutique giant sweepstakes prize.
It's a very important mall. What is it called?
Oh man, I don't know the name of the mall.
It's like something fashion. Oh man, hang on.
Are we while she's looking this up? Are we missing anything, Lily? I'm trying my best here to layer everything just right, so we're getting.
You guys are so incredibly thorough. I really appreciate that. I guess while you're looking for this, I will just add another trait of ChrisChan's. What was that?
Oh, there you are.
Oh,
we lost you.
Oh no!
Okay,
oh no! I'm here.
We're good now.
Okay. I would add a trait to ChrisChan's character is that he has a lot of anger issues and he doesn't really get along with much anybody, especially authority figures. So you will see that it happens a few times in his story that he's going to get angry with someone, he's going to have an argument with them, and it will just branch out into either another Sonichu character or we'll talk about it here in a second, but he will start his love quest after an argument. He is just, I'm not sure how to phrase that, but
a force.
Yes,
of course, for sure.
Yes, that's a really good way to put it.
So
Fashion Square Mall.
The other thing is Fashion Square Mall. There we go.
There's a whole section on the Quickie of important places that have hyperlinks to details about those important places.
Yeah, like Lily, you obviously can see it at, no, my thing doesn't have auto exposure. There's like, I don't even know if just go to what is
Sonicchu.com.
Yeah.
SONICHU.com.
And whoever is in this episode, if you just browse through that while we're talking, it will just blow your mind. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to say in making this episode, it's like there's so much to go on. I didn't even know how we me, Megan, and Lily powwowed before this and try to kind of like figure out how we would string this together. But you have to realize, like, we're not, like, for the people who are aware of this phenomenon, there are 80-part 1-hour documentaries so far. Mm-hmm. Or maybe now there's 81. So there's
81.
80 to 81 45-minute to over an hour episodes on YouTube that are already released, and that's just one. Mention that channel.
Okay, so the channel that has parts to it currently is Gino Samuel 2.1 on YouTube. So I'm sure you can put a link.
Yeah, we'll put some links in the notes of this show. There's Chris's own YouTube. There's Gino Samuel 2.1, and then there's a whole bunch of other YouTubers that have covered this at grave detail. So it's like we're not reinventing the wheel here, but for at least people that are mildly to not aware of him, that's what this episode is about.
And keep in mind that most everything you find online isn't really just a little bit of information that's been repeated ad nauseum. There's just so much content in his life, in his upbringing, the content he produces, his videos, his art. There's just so much to unpack. It's really, really incredible. Here soon we'll talk about the Love Quest, and that's not a chapter. That's a whole novel by itself. Truly, if you have a few afternoons, maybe a month or two of free time, dive in, and it's just fascinating how much you can find. The most intricate, disgusting, probably septic details about ChrisChan. It's truly, it's a lot.
It's pretty insane.
My biggest thing is why do so many people care or I guess about ChrisChan. I guess if he's trans, I don't know what his pronouns are, but why does I mean, are we going to get into that?
Yes, we will get into that. That there's a whole lot to unpack with that as well. With the trans era that we're currently in.
Yeah.
There's so much. Because I think the reason why people care is first of all, people are jerks.
Yeah. Very
and
cruel,
especially
for sure.
the wild west of that was the internet in this time, because ChrisChan has been on the internet since like the late 90s, early 2000s, I would say.
Yep.
Which is, I remember being online at that time and it was wild. Like the stuff that, I mean, there was just, nobody really knew what to, like, it was just kids on the internet being bullies to other kids or people like ChrisChan. And unfortunately, ChrisChan is just an extremely gullible person and was really trusting and easy to manipulate. It's pretty insane how much, it's just crazy. He could have just turned the camera off or just stopped responding to these people and they would have just stopped. But the thing is, he didn't.
I don't think they would have stopped, but maybe that's a discussion for another night.
Yeah. Maybe.
Hey, Seth.
Because he gave them a reaction.
Yeah.
But I mean, that brings us to today, right? And that's kind of everybody. Everybody likes attention of some sort. And it sounds like this guy, A, needed attention, B, didn't really know how to get it. And then when he didn't get attention, he made a stink about everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at his high school graduation, he stormed out crying because he believed he deserved that was given to a different student, claiming he worked hard despite his autism. So there's that.
His infectious autism.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yes.
It's occasionally used as like a I don't know.
Like a crutch?
Yeah, it definitely is strategically used that way somehow. And what's weird is if you watch enough of this stuff, there are these moments where there is like a lot of self-awareness, and then there's like viewing it, you're like, this person has never been somewhere in their life. It's like this weird mix, and so much so there are theories that that ChrisChan himself is the biggest troll that has ever lived. Now, I once subscribed to that theory. As we move forward, I kind of dropped that and was like, no, this is real.
There's no way that can be a troll.
Yes,
this particular note right here.
Where I was breaking up a cat fight. Where did you, what was Alex's question? Like, where are you guys?
Oh, why do people care so much about ChrisChan?
Yeah. That is a great
question. Why is this person so documented?
The best way I can describe it's like a snowball effect. Like a little bit happened and then kept rolling, and then a little bit more packed on, and then it just became so big that it had to become bigger. There was no other way of doing it, especially if ChrisChan replies, which always happens. There's always it never stops. Like despite prison and all these different eras where all of a sudden it's like, oh well, we're never going to hear from that person again, and then he's back. He's just always back, and it's great.
I just need to ask, as like,
so I guess we can get into the college era before we get into the classic.
I'll just say one thing before we continue, if you don't mind.
Time out. It sounds like Lilly was
already starting.
No, I think it started in college because he had gal pals. Okay, he had gal pals in school, but he didn't really become interested in dating until after high school graduation.
Right. Yeah, so gal,
he wasn't really sexually he wasn't aware of like sex and things like that until I can't remember what the exact point is.
I don't think they can hear us.
There was an incident that happened. What was it?
That was probably his argument.
Can you not hear us?
College. I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
We can hear you. I don't think you can hear us.
We can't hear.
Hello.
That's what's happening. They can't hear us.
That makes a lot of sense.
Whoa. Well, sorry. Apologies. How long have you been trying?
No, you're fine. It's okay.
Did you?
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Fine.
Let's. Yeah, we're having
Sorry.
some technical difficulties, but we're plowing through it. Sorry.
Totally fine. I'll be quick, I promise. Quick enough that I could be in Cwcville, actually.
Oh,
I just wanted to make a point. I know we talk a lot about ChrisChan's the flaws in his characters, and sometimes they can seem endearing, but I have a personal policy just to safeguard my own sanity and my own empathy to not feel for lolcows in general and not to feel for ChrisChan because they've done some pretty vile shit.
oh yeah.
They can seem like someone that's, struggling through life and they work through their autism but trust me, they've done some truly incredible illegal stuff to their loved ones, to people on the internet that were not deserving of that kind of deal. So I just wanted to make a point. Do not, like I said before, do not feed the cows, stay on the screen, look at them on the screen, maybe snap a picture in front of the house if you want, but just save yourself the trouble of actually investing your care and empathy into a character like that.
Yes, totally agree.
No, I think so too. I'm hung up on this autism thing, and I probably shouldn't be. But I think back to when I was young and when I had babysitters. And there's a lot of things I could have gotten from babysitters because some of them were from a certain age. You start becoming interested and you start looking, and it definitely sounds like. Are we saying they were doing that? But like I think probably the wildest thing I could have gotten off of one of my babysitters is like the clap or crabs. I don't think I would have gotten autism from a babysitter. It's still that just bugs the shit out of me. That,
it's some infectious little bugger. Honestly, you never know. You never know.
Well, my best friend has a child that has autism, and he didn't catch it. It didn't. It wasn't
Right.
like.
Well, that's good.
He didn't. So that part of it is just bugging the shit out of me. That I can't. It makes me want to find them and punch them in the mouth just for saying that because it's not how that works. So
Sanitize your hands
Agreed.
afterwards. I'll just say that.
okay.
Take a hot shower.
Yep,
just,
I'm
So strange. This
wearing gloves and a mask.
This dynamic that ChrisChan has with his with their autism. I have a friend who's autistic. They don't talk about their autism that way. They're aware of it, but it's just strange. I don't get I think ChrisChan has just latched onto that as like a crutch in a way to, and I know it's probably a struggle for ChrisChan. I know there's definitely some self-awareness that happened where they were like, there's like documentation talking about ChrisChan's inability to understand certain situations or people because of the way that his brain works, I guess. Hard to relate to them.
Yes.
And you know what? I don't know that I would totally agree with that because I think that most of maybe not every instances where he uses autism as a crutch, but I do think that he's been fed those excuses of, well, Chris, they're trying, okay? They have autism. I think he's been fed this narrative a little bit, and now it just comes naturally. I do think that.
And the crazy thing, if you watch any videos that ChrisChan has uploaded, they are very childlike. The way that they childlike with adult urges.
Yeah.
Which we'll go into with the love
Lord.
quest.
Oh God.
There is I cannot remember. There is a. Sorry, this is going to be a little gross. So TMI warning. They talk about their first erection at some point. I don't remember what it was.
So, it was in high school actually.
I know about the empathy belly, but that wasn't their first. There was a different erection.
Okay,
So
well,
I remember something, but I don't know if it's the first
I'm gonna search
instance
the
that happened. Hmm. I remember I'm pulling from like the archives of my locale knowledge right now. I feel like it was a school assignment, and he described feeling some sort of pleasure and satisfaction in the paper.
Oh,
And I think that's when the first mention happened.
I'm only aware of the empathy belly.
Is that where the term
So when-
white paper came from? No.
Oh, damn.
My
Damn, I
God.
did not know that. Damn.
So in high school, ChrisChan had to do a report on wearing this empathy belly. I don't know if any of y'all had to do that in school, where they put like this
Mhm.
weighted stomach kind of you just see what it's like to be pregnant. like, to
That's
feel-
what I'm remembering. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, I remember wearing one of those, and they do make the boys wear them too. And he describes in this report as when he crossed his legs and sat in a certain way, the empathy belly rubbed against his private area and caused a strange, funny feeling. And he wrote this in a report to his teacher, who gave him an A. You can actually, for some reason, also there is a lot of documentation from his personal files, like this report. Somebody has scanned it in. I don't know how, but this was like an actual report.
Yeah, they're all handwritten.
Yeah, and like there's like there's so much, and I'm like, how are they getting this? Are they just like breaking into his house, or is he like voluntarily uploading these documents? It's pretty wild. There's also been times. Sorry if I go off the rails here. There's been times where there's a video where he's throwing a tantrum because of a trolling incident, and he reads out his full address.
Yes,
He like
oh my God.
doxes himself.
This is the
And now-
liquid Chris.
There was Liquid Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of trolls, y'all. And Chris is a personal favorite of
Yes.
a lot of people.
Okay, before we get into that, all right. Okay, so we've already, because I want to let Grindhouse know this before because he couldn't let go of the autism thing. So we've already established the comic books, the Sonichu stuff, and the occasionally using autism as a crutch, and obviously there's other times where there's complete. Anyway, there was this one troll in particular that wrote this series of comics pretending to be the real ChrisChan. This is before, I believe this was before Liquid Chris, and the comic was called Asperchu. It was, it was, so Asperchu. So it was like a well done comic series with Sonichu with Asperger's, and this guy that, because in the front cover of Sonichu, he's like, "Go on, son," and zap to the extreme, and Sonichu answers, "I will, father," and so this guy made a complete spoof off of his comics and wrote all of them, and they're just amazing. And so since then, he has had not only a war with the homosexual group, he has also had a large war with anyone with Asperger's, because it is I'm loosely quoting him, it is nowhere near as bad as autism.
Okay, well, first of all, Asperger's is on the spectrum of autism, so that doesn't make any
Yes.
fucking sense.
I
So,
did a
but-
whole report on that in college.
So, but what you're telling me is that there is somebody who is a bigger narcissistic douchebag than ChrisChan himself that tried. Wow. Okay. I was gonna sit here and laugh for a second, so go ahead.
There'll be many more laughs and
Yes.
gaffes.
Oh
and
man.
goofs.
Yeah. So
Oh.
she's putting in listener the first issue of Sonichu.
Number 0.
Yes, and then
Oh, Jesus.
upload Asperchu.
Okay,
This is
let me
good.
go to
Beautiful.
Asperchu is pretty great.
And
Look at the Sonichu font. It's ridiculous. It's little lightning bolts. How fucking cool is that?
All hand drawn.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
really?
I have a question.
That's hand drawn. I wouldn't have known.
That's
Oh
a
my-
art.
Yeah.
and then
uh-huh.
below it is a link to the Asperchu saga.
Wow. Oh
good.
my God. It's giving up strong
am
design
I-
is my passion. Graphic
why am
design
I
is my
doing
passion
this?
vibes.
Why am I?
Why does Sonic have to be? Why does Sonic have to suffer, y'all? He suffered so much. Bad video games and just the worst fans.
We've had this discussion back and forth of why certain elements of humanity.
Why? Why?
Oh, it gets so much better.
Okay, so while
What
we're
is wrong
on
with you people? What is wrong? Oh my god! What? Oh, okay,
I'm gonna specifically you're looking at.
I'm gonna clip this and put this somewhere where you can see it because I need to explain, or someone to explain to me what the fuck I am seeing right now. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. Okay, and in it goes. Okay, what the hell is this?
Oh my lord.
Okay. All right. So when the quickie was being managed by Chris, there was some kind of, I don't know how the whole ad system worked back then, but whoever was in control of the hosting and the advertising, the highest bidders were trolls that would put up gay ads and anything that they knew Chris absolutely hated, and one of which was Asperchu comics and men seeking men ads.
And I was going to say that's why the two gentlemen in the middle have darker skin.
There's also he is extremely racist.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know currently.
No, now it's all been retconned. It's no more.
I don't know. He's Jesus now, so he probably can't be racist now.
Oh my goodness, yeah. There's a lot, y'all.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're a long way away from the second coming of Jesus Christ Weston.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
And we haven't even gotten into the dimensional merge.
Or the love quest.
Like the C187 dimensional merge and the CPU parts. I mean, you don't understand how difficult this episode is. This was trying. Okay, where are we chronologically?
We were about to go to the love
All right, you kick off the love quest.
Okay.
I think
So,
we were
okay.
Weren't we
The
at
love
first?
quest
Was first
No,
boner?
go ahead.
Wasn't that where we were? We were first
the
boner.
first boner.
Oh, yes. First boner
I could
chronologically.
not find the exact first one, but he definitely got a boner from the empathy belly
Yes.
and told his teacher he got a boner from the empathy belly.
It happens,
Yes.
I guess.
Or at least it's implied heavily
Yes.
that he got a strange sensation in his private parts
Yeah. And the
from wearing the belly because it was rubbing down there when he sat and crossed his legs all funny.
I also the verbology that surrounds ChrisChan, I absolutely love it. Like gal pals, boyfriend free girls, all
Female
all
companion.
Of these, yes, all of these words. It's like
Comeuppance?
Yes, comeuppance. yeah, comeuppance is coming, but yes, comeuppance, jerk hops.
Jerk ops is great.
The leaked phone sex sessions. It's just so amazing. I don't even know how to. This is the thing. Like I know no one's attaching like empathy or getting too invested in Waka, but when I have ChrisChan updates, I'm ecstatic. It makes my day when I get another morsel of this ongoing saga.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. It just makes me very happy.
I mean, he did spend money on a handmade by ChrisChan.
This was handmade by ChrisChan. I would want to preface that.
I would put that under a black light and see if it glows. Just
some people have gotten some of ChrisChan's hair with the packaging, and unfortunately,
I know. I got really scared when you said some people got. Oh, I got really, really scared when you started that sentence. Oh my god!
I'm continually buy from the shop until I get a strand of blue hair, and I'm going to put it in a vial, and I don't know. Something will happen of it, but I will have some ChrisChan DNA.
Well,
are you gonna make him your blood boy? Is that your goal?
I would say that's not an option.
First of all, ChrisChan is older than Seth.
Yeah, that wouldn't make any sense.
Currently, I believe they're 41.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you draw the line.
And not the like a peak physical health either.
Yeah, peak physical health, 18. That's my target demographic with the Blood Boy.
Okay, well, after high school, first of all, when he did graduate high school, I believe he got pretty sad about this because he felt like, you know, that was his social life. First of all, that was the only social life he had at that time, was just really majorly was high school. And actually, apparently, his father Bob had there was a girl, I can't remember her name right now, but there was some people that he had paid to keep an eye on ChrisChan, pretty much paid to be his friend. So these gal pals, some of them were not genuine. I don't know about all of them, but there was some that or at least one was paid to be his friend and keep an eye on him. So he's pretty, you know, pretty down about graduating high school and not seeing these friends of his again. And then he goes on after high school graduation and enters into Piedmont, Virginia Community College, because he was unable to cope with life after school or high school at this point. He started taking courses in computer-aided drafting and design. And then at this point, he, you know, after high school, going into college, he began spending more time on Sonichu, by even creating a newsletter and circulating it on the Piedmont, Virginia Community College campus.
Are you going to say what it said?
Hang on, let me pull it up. Oh man. Oh, issues. What? Hang on. There's oh no, there's so many.
Well, I love
Sweetheart
I love the fact that it took him 5 years to complete a 2-year degree.
Yes, are you? Oh my gosh! So at least, hey, he's got more than I do. I don't even have that. I took 2 semesters.
Somebody made a video on things ChrisChan has accomplished that you haven't, and there's some things he's accomplished that I have not, and it's a weird feeling.
I don't know how I feel about it, but you know what? Good on them. So college is when the Luff Quest era really it begins. So this newsletter he started circulating was primarily a way for him to like promote himself to women. So every issue ended up with a detailed description of what he would want in a partner. The sweetheart qualifications is what it was called.
Yeah.
So let's see okay. So I'm going to read what the issue said. Christian W. Chandler is 21, and it says here 22 as of February 24th, 2004, and single, seeking a single female companion of the following qualities: 18 to 21 years of age, 18 to 22 as of February 24th, 2004, does not already have a friend, single, blonde or brunette, average or slender body type, does not smoke or drink alcohol, 5 foot or taller, lives in Charlottesville or Ruckersville area, white, average to high income, drives a vehicle, happy, positive personality, a caring girl. And then it goes, and I'm just reading this verbatim, and there's some things I'm probably not going to say out loud, some offensive stuff in some of these issues.
You're quoting.
I'm quoting.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to describe ChrisChan here. Christian is a very shy and very thoughtful person and will only accept person-to-person encounters, no emails or phone calls. So if you are interested, he can be found around the Piedmont, Virginia Community College or Fashion Square Shopping Center. When getting his attention, approach him and say hi to him. Do not flirt from a distance. He will not be able to notice. To find Christian, he'll be wearing the Sonichu medallion, which is was kind of used as like a name tag for him, honestly.
Is that Christian right there? And he's
no? You're damn right. That's him right there in the flesh.
Yeah. He's sitting to your left, Megan. Just so you know.
Oh no, no! I don't want to date Chan.
Doesn't sound like anybody does. So yeah, that works out.
I really hope Actually, do I?
What?
Do I hope that he finds love?
Look, I
No.
hope.
He don't deserve it.
I don't want to be mean,
I hope.
but I know like there's
that,
reasons.
I hope that a mutually beneficial, happy scenario ends. Because like I wondered how this whole thing ends, and there's only a few ways,
and it's still going.
Yeah.
It's been going for 20 years.
So.
That was issues 1 and 2. What that newsletter had in it. There was also a point where he also this newsletter was called the Sonichu's News Dash, by the way. So in college, the love quest begins. He said he decided he needed a sweetheart in February of 2003. This is possibly because he discovered his old friend, Sarah Hammer, had begun dating someone. There's names listed here, but I'm just not going to go into every name because there's so many. He did start his love quest that summer of 2003, but he quickly found out that every girl he talked to had a boyfriend. So they were not boyfriend-free girls, which is something he states quite a bit. He needs a boyfriend-free girl. He soon became neurotic about the infinitely high and began concocting and employing various methods to attract women. I'm reading from the quickie here, y'all, so bear with me because there's so much. He during college did get in trouble with a lot of authority figures. Most notably is the dean, Mary Lee Walsh,
Mary
dean
Lee
of students of PVCC College. So he had a whole thing about Mary Lee Walsh because she confronted him about over his attraction signs and techniques. He would
just didn't get it. She didn't get his style, okay?
She did not.
The fact that he posted a pamphlet asking for a boyfriendless girlfriend, okay?
Yes.
And she thought that he was soliciting sex? Come on.
Yes, so I think the signs, the attraction signs is when it gets really bad because there's at least one sign that says something pretty offensive on it. So let's see what the sign says here. The original sign, which was created in 2003, which first started this love quest of his, it says the following: 21 and single white male. ... Shy, smart, young at heart, computer skilled, humorous, a great thinker and go-getter, natural salesperson, what? Enjoys good parts of life, diplomatic, friendly,
now.
loves his family, peaceful, very creative. He's lonely. ... Seeking a cute 18 to 21 single female companion.
All caps.
18, yeah, all caps here with like the female symbol next to it. The 18 to 21 years of age, does not already have a boyfriend, single. I don't know how many times this has to say single. Average to slender weight body type, white. Again, he reiterates white. Lives in Charlottesville or Ruckersville area. Does not smoke or drink alcohol. Happy, positive personality. Average to high income and drives a vehicle. And there is at the bottom of this an image of Sonichu's face. And it says, if any men read this huge sign, mind your own business. And to end with friends, except, okay, this is a quote because I do not feel this way. This is really bad.
Understood.
So please just know I am reading the sign.
Disclaimer for legal purposes. This is a quote.
Quote, and to all men with girlfriends except married and blacks go jump off a cliff.
And he concludes with
nice day.
There we go.
Smiley face.
Jump off a have a nice day.
I just cannot believe the audacity of this sign and how
Beautiful.
it's so insane. I just cannot. This shit would not fly in 2023. I'm gonna tell you right now. This would not fly. It shouldn't have been a thing then either. But yeah, the internet will definitely not let ChrisChan forget this.
Little weirdo.
He also had other ideas besides the signs. But said that newspaper/magazine ads, online dating sites, video dating services, to name a few, they cost money. I also want to say ChrisChan to this day has only held one job. That job was Wendy's, and he was shortly fired after that. So, it's hilarious that that his requirement to have a boyfriend-free girl, it requires her to have average to high income.
Of course.
So
Yeah, at 20, you should have an average to high income. Okay, sure.
it's just it's like ChrisChan wants somebody to mommy them.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
what they take care of them.
Oh,
They
God.
they want a Barb. A boy.
Oh, God.
Oh boy.
Oh,
I know.
yeah.
No.
Never,
This
never,
feud,
never swim in the company pool. Never swim in the company pool.
Oh, well, he did swim. Oh, boy. That probably killed the
he
old lady.
swam, all right. So many variations of this like attraction sign were created, and this was produced throughout college. And because Mary Lee Walsh, the dean of students, kept confiscating them, he waged a war by creating MySpace and Facebook accounts, then printing new signs and plastering them all over campus, only to be torn down by Mary. Regardless of Mary's efforts, the sign required updating annually, since the requisite age of a boyfriend-free girl was invariably 18 to whatever Chris's age was at the time. Couldn't be older than Chris. Had to be 18 to whatever age that ChrisChan was at that point.
It was like a hard wall.
Yeah.
God, this sounds like so much work. Like, why?
There's so much work. ChrisChan has put in so much work for nothing. I don't know if it breaks my heart. No, I'm gonna stay strong, Lily. I'm gonna stay strong.
I was silently shaking my head.
Which one? This one?
Please screen cap that and send that.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, to that and the one with him with the signs, and
Okay.
put it in the listener room so Grindhouse sees what we see.
Okay.
Oh,
That and that, yes. This is him soliciting, trying to find boyfriend-free girls outside his college campus.
Okay. Hang on. I'm pulling it up, y'all. There's so much to unpack with this person. The second photo is from I think it said 2010.
Yeah.
So the second photo of the want woman. It's just okay. Here's the thing: ChrisChan asks for it. That's the problem. They're asking for it. Stop asking for it. I think they've kind of learned. Do you think they've learned?
Kind of. Just a new way of subverting noise. The thing is, to present day, they live in a very controlled. But I don't know. We'll get into that. But the way Christine lives now is very controlled intentionally. But stuff still happens.
Yes. So this whole thing with Mary Lee Walsh, the dean of students,
She made it in the comic.
She's in the Sonichu comics as a villain.
Oh, she's on the list. She's on the
and
list.
He
Yes.
famously made a couple. It was 2013. I don't know. There's a post on Facebook that ChrisChan has made and mentions Mary Lee Walsh. Again, there's a lot of lore to cover that I don't think we'll be able to cover every single thing. So we're just trying to highlight some interesting points here. And Mary Lee Walsh is such a character in this. There was a time where Mary Lee Walsh, I guess, called ChrisChan to her office, and while he was attending college there at Piedmont, Virginia Community College, she has thwarted this love quest so many times that they're talking. He's upset, and he, at this point, has anybody seen Dragon Ball Z?
Mm-hmm.
He Kamehamehas Mary Lee Walsh. Like, just full on Kamehamehas in her face.
She had it coming.
She
had it coming, this woman.
And there was more to that. There's a lot. There's a lot of documentation on this moment, I believe. But he literally stands up and Kamehamehas her. And I'm sure she was like, what the fuck was that?
Mm-hmm.
So,
now, question: is Liquid Chris during college era?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think Liquid Chris was 2008.
Mm-hmm.
2008, 2009.
Man, okay, so it's really hard determining what so first off, if anyone's seen video footage from a PlayStation 3i, it looks like a potato. And also during this time, Chris does not, like, from like end of high school to up until Liquid Chris looks like exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like really hard when you're just watching videos, which was my like go-to method, is just absorbing all of these videos. It's really hard pinpointing like a time frame on all of this.
Yeah, and so, you know, this feud with Mary Lee Walsh was one-sided with ChrisChan. So she obviously was just doing her job, and he apparently was throwing magic curses and slander at her, which obviously the Kamehameha was that. So after these confrontations, this multiple confrontations, and even threatening behavior from ChrisChan, Mary Lee Walsh expelled him for 1 year in 2004. He did eventually return and obtained an associate's degree in May of 2006. So after college, he began devoting his life to finding a boyfriend-free girl. So the love quest does continue. He also continues drawing Sonichu comics. And I don't know what exactly this mass debating. Oh, that's a never mind. He calls masturbating mass debating.
I forgot about that.
I don't know if I want to click on that link and go into that, but he
Well,
also is on welfare.
Could be a large audience. You never know.
He and Grindhouse, I don't know if you heard, but ChrisChan to this day, as far as we know, has only held one job at Wendy's between sometime after high school and college, and that was the only job he's ever had that we know of. And
kind of explains that
fired.
picture. Kind of explains that picture you said. Looks like he had a little too much of the product, huh?
Oh my gosh! The thing is, ChrisChan, I don't want to body shame ChrisChan. They haven't changed really much body wise.
Yeah.
No,
So whatever they're doing, they're maintaining.
It's yeah.
Well, you are what you are, but I mean that's so the boyfriend free girl thing.
Mm-hmm.
What is with that designation exactly?
Well, she also has to be single, so let's not forget that.
She has to be single and boyfriend free.
Exactly.
That's the same thing.
Well, I think what was going on was like any woman that he would interact with would be like, oh, I've got a boyfriend. Like anyone that he pursued.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just concreted this term, boyfriend free girl.
Yeah, he was just getting
friend zoned left and right.
very friend.
Well, okay.
And
so let's take the Wendy's, the Wendy's or the Body by Wendy's factor out of it. Yeah, I mean this person's clearly a fucking psycho. I mean, so it's that's
pretty. It's their own downfall. Like they're definitely the reason why they cannot find love at this point.
Absolutely, yeah.
I
So
hope they are changing. Wish the best for them. I think I'm trying to be nice. I can't. It's hard. You know, Seth. It's really hard for me to be at. Like,
Again, I'm just silently
I
shaking my
backtrack.
head.
I know. I just I want to believe there's some good here, but I don't know. I do agree that ChrisChan is very creative. Even if it's already used, like, it's already existing IP. They are quite an artist. It's incredible that the art style has not really changed that much in 20 years. And it's just impressive that were able to pump out this much content, you know, with the Sonichu comics. So that's I think that's impressive. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, I mean,
stuff.
it is in a so it is in a sense, but at the same time, it's like when you're copying something else. I mean, it definitely takes time to sit down and very faithfully copy something else. It takes some time, but the stuff that I've seen, I mean, it's a life story for sure, but I don't think it's anything.
It's almost like an autobiography in a way.
That's exactly what it is.
In a weird.
It's his hit list, but it's in the form of a comic. That's what it is. And then
there's the retcon because, you know, there's a new issue of Sonichu where it's now Christine, and it's I will mother, thank you, or something like that.
Yes.
So, and then Mary Lee Walsh actually, because Mary Lee Walsh was just absolutely just ripped on in Sonichu issues. They have ChrisChan has retconned that, and I found out just the other day when I was doing some research on this. My brain is fried, y'all. That Mary Lee Walsh, there was a fake Mary Lee Walsh impersonating in this Sonichu comics, and that the real Mary Lee Walsh, they are now friends.
Besties.
They're on good terms. Yeah. Aww. So there's the besties.
Oh, that's adorable.
So, you know,
finally a silver lining
there. Yeah, but
birds of a feather flock together. Okay,
something like that.
Mary Lee Walsh was trying to do her job. Okay, she was just like, please. I just can't imagine. That's like, this is college. You shouldn't have to deal with something like that from a college student. This is like elementary, middle school, high school behavior. Dealing with an unruly.
This is the peeking up the skirts and bra snapping bullshit that should be done with by the time you get to college. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wow.
Because there's also a point in the Love Quest where ChrisChan hangs out at the Fashion Square shopping mall and throws, what was it? It was like, it's not Pokeballs. He was throwing like roses at them.
It was a heart, wasn't it? Like a heart with a message. Yeah, it was a heart.
Yeah, it was a heart. That's right. It was a heart.
Is that when he got either arrested or a citation, something like that, because it was loitering?
The jerk ops.
Yeah. The jerk ops.
This is when the jerk op enters in. I'll have to locate.
A lot of covert messages about masturbation in this guy's story. I'm just saying.
Well, it's mass debating.
Of course.
Grindhouse. It's mass debating.
You know what? Every once in a while,
you can have some comeuppance.
Well, every once in a while, you slip off and hit yourself in the forehead. You don't have to be concussed in that. This whole story. I mean. And I guess the thing that I love about it is it just oozes insanity. I just like, I mean, because we've all been in like a place, right, where you're desperate for a certain girl or something, or somebody's pissed you off. But to take it to these lengths, I mean, like to like document it in a comic, and then it just like, you've made the list, and I'm gonna document your demise in my, like, wow. Just fucking wow.
It's pretty wild. ChrisChan apparently has been known to depress people too.
Yeah,
no shit.
Watching. So you got to go into it. It's just like you got to like separate yourself from it. I mean, don't go out. Also, I just want to say, please, nobody listening, go after ChrisChan. Like, just don't. I don't.
Oh, that's just pathetic. Don't do. That's just pathetic. Don't do that.
Yeah.
You don't need to dog somebody or troll somebody. That's just sad. But
It is, yeah.
I think it's perfectly okay to maybe laugh out loud often at this whole thing.
Because ChrisChan at this point is just trying to live their life, and I feel like current ChrisChan is doing their best to move past some of this, and they have, I feel like, become wiser to trolls now.
With the tools at their disposal, yeah. Yep.
But
Yep.
you feel like there's also like they've got like some kind of person helping them, like a handler.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a whole thing. There's what is that group? Prager.
Yeah.
Is it Prager?
PragerU?
No, it's
No,
it's
something
so
different.
it's
It's like a
So-
it's like a center.
yeah, and okay, there's a handful. One of
Praetor.
Praetor. That's it.
LL.
Yeah, Praetor LLC.
But they're a group of edgy Gen Z business people.
So
Oh,
what's
God.
weird
Well,
is
I already don't like him.
Yeah.
so the whole thing about Chris is that there's endless eyes watching this. Like if you look at any of the main channels covering this stuff, the views, the interactions with that channel are off the chain. So there are people that have strategically placed themselves around Chris's life to profit off of it. Some have been the original creators of the split off, the Kiwi Farms. And what is his name? Null, his code word or whatever. Anyway, Null, I'm pretty sure was setting it up to where the Sonichu temple, Chris's house, would eventually be put into like an LLC, and then they were going to do something to where the books all made sense, and it would be owned by like a parent company. Chris could live there, but also create comics and content and sell. And then there would be a certain basically allowance, because there's not really a chance of like a normal income outside of this thing that happened to his life. So,
And I don't think he
there's
can
been
be
different-
trusted with it either. I don't think so.
No.
I remember
so-
when they had that fire at the house and he was just like asking people for money online just
Yeah.
to buy crap. He ended
Yeah.
up just to buy crap.
Yep.
He
Bought
even
toys.
sold he even sold his father most prized possession after he passed. Or was it a stamp collection?
It was
and
a
he
stamp collection amongst other things.
He sold
and-
all of that just to buy literal crap.
And Bob left. We have Bob's letters to Chris explaining how he was very upset about when the one day he broke his dad's straight razor and all of this
Yeah.
stuff, and it was like trying to impart taking care of his things to Chris, take care of your ancestors' stuff and
the
appreciate
legacy
it, learn
and
how
all
to
that.
yeah, and then right when Bob dies, he pawns his stuff and goes and gets like, what are those amoeba toys? The amiibos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad.
No impulse control.
No.
At all.
So,
None.
and some of these trolls, I think these people that are trying to set up this LLC and like, you know, kind of like a trust, I guess,
Yeah.
for ChrisChan, they're like these, I'm assuming there's some of these like trolls that really messed with him throughout the years. And I think they kind of feel like,
Feel bad? Yeah.
like shitheads now. And I think they're now trying to kind of, you know,
Make
fix
amends
the
almost?
damage. Yeah, make
Yeah.
amends. Which is, you know, it's good, I think.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't want ChrisChan to be homeless,
No.
like
Yeah.
despite the things we're going to touch on.
Yeah, well, the thing is, when Chris was doing the Etsy and the eBay himself, like there was the problem was they'd get into this thing and be like, you know, ship out the stuff. Someone would pay for the Sonic totem or whatever, ship it out, etc. But eventually just loses interest and stops shipping stuff. So everybody has to like get chargebacks from PayPal or whatever. So like left to Chris's own devices, no follow through. Eventually the shipments will stop. So in terms of
Structure.
a scenario where there's consistent income that's
Yeah.
not just welfare or something, there's really none other but a big brother situation from, you know, former trolls that just want to make that life a little more stable.
Well,
yeah.
sure, that kind of makes sense though, because there's always somebody that wants to leech off of somebody else's fame, whether it's ill-gotten or not. But at the same time, it's like, you know, and this is just me being the realist that I've always been at my slightly advanced age. Like, if you can't take care of yourself and you've got to have a bunch of people come in and help you, I mean, there's a point where you just go, you know what? Selling your hair or selling, I mean, for me, this is just me, there's a certain point where that kind of stuff becomes kind of worn out and kind of pathetic. And it's like, if you don't want to, I mean, ultimately we're all part of the system and we all have to do something that we don't want to do to make a living just to get by, right? I mean, and I honestly think this person, them might want to consider filling out an application at Wendy's and going back there, because at least then you'd be a productive member of society. You know, it's these things with these I don't know, call it internet famous people. There's a lot of this I just don't get. Like, I don't get how it stays in the zeitgeist and how people you know, like there's a why part here that I like, my brain can't fill in. I can't fill in the why part. Like, why? Like, just why?
Totally understand. It's a bizarre phenomenon that just been growing for a while, like over the last at least 10 years. Like, obviously ChrisChan has been spanning 20 years at this point, but just like internet famous people is really kind of more, I don't know, it's kind of like a last decade thing.
Yeah,
I feel like
a decade and some change.
where people just, I mean, there's people buying like Sonichu medallions and like, you know, memorabilia from these. It's just insane. But
I want to tell my grandkids, I want to point to the screen and be like, I have something that guy made. And then they just think I'm senile and crazy. Be great.
Yeah, and when they say it was great to see you again, Grandpa, and then the locked door closes behind them, yeah, there's gonna be a reason, my friend.
Well,
Seth is going to be put into a home.
probably.
Yeah, next week. Yep. Well, no, and here's the thing. I mean, look at the wall behind me. Okay, I get it. I get infatuation. I get being into something that maybe not everybody understands, but this one is just a sliver outside of my realm of like,
It's
what
like,
the fuck?
Yeah, but
it's
you're a
really different
functioning
reasons.
adult.
Also, yes, there's like different reasons why people latch on so much to those little cows. It could be just kind of a morbid curiosity of how far can they either humiliate or laugh at someone, or just see how far they will go themselves to just expose their body, or be so gullible to just send whatever to someone they think is a potential mate. There's truly something fascinating. I unfortunately follow a bunch of cows, and I also see reports from creators about those cows, because it's like, it can't be real. It just cannot be real.
Yeah.
Well, so maybe what Seth was saying earlier about genius people and their inability to be embarrassed, maybe that actually does play into this, because like, I looked at that photo you posted and I'm like, I can't on any planet or any dimension like take that picture of myself and just be like, that's it right there, got it.
That's the one.
That's the
Like,
one.
so it's like, wow. But I mean, so maybe that's it. Maybe that actually, and maybe he didn't contract autism from his babysitter.
No.
Maybe he actually is. But you know, I would like to see a doctor's note or something.
He was actually diagnosed with autism, and if you watch his
Oh, well,
videos,
shit. Now I feel bad because I've been fucking bashing on it. Okay, well.
he was diagnosed as a child with, which is crazy because I don't think he's high functioning.
Yeah, that's arguable. I don't know.
I don't think he's had a recent. Well, did he have a recent diagnosis of something?
I don't. Well, in
like,
prison, there was.
I was gonna say,
psychiatric.
did they?
Yeah.
Well, if you
all
want,
kinds of fun things can happen in prison. So yeah.
Well, I just got some a little bit more information about the love quest. He stated the purpose of the love quest was to meet a woman who would be his true love, solve all his problems, and bear his daughter, Crystal. So there's that. I didn't even know that love quest. I learned some things. Thank you, Quickie. Sonichu.com.
So he wants to meet a wife to solve all of his problems. Yeah, he's fucking delusional. He's absolutely
it says
delusional.
here, and I quote, the love quest represented a focused effort to do everything in his power to achieve romantic fulfillment, except, of course, improving himself. End quote.
Oh my god, that is spot on. That is quite spot on.
So he wants to get laid. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes, actually, there's a lot
okay.
that refer to this as the fuck quest.
Quest. Okay.
Yeah. Which I do believe that. But he does maintain a belief in waiting for marriage to have sex due to his religious principles. We'll get on that a little later because he has also covered a Backstreet Boys song of that he is a virgin with rage.
Yes. So as we get, all right, we should probably start getting into these particular the trolls that took the opportunity to exploit this love quest. So he unironically started uploading covers, and you can find them on YouTube of him singing over Backstreet Boys and various current pop artists, and just changing the lyrics, and they're great. What's amazing is, if I didn't know any better, like, this is what is so strange. I would think I'm being trolled listening to this. Like, someone wants to convince me this is real. When you hear that Backstreet Boys cover, it's like, this can't be real. I mean, it is so it's so crazy when you hear the lines on it. It's like, I'm being played here, but I'm not.
He means it, man. He believes it and he means it. He was a virgin with rage. So, he also
Megan?
spent a lot of money, a lot of his welfare money, not only on videos but sex toys. There is a lot of videos of ChrisChan with a sex doll.
Goodness.
In action.
Also, when people are curious on how some information got leaked from various websites and invoices and emails and eBays and this and that, apparently there was various changes of Sonichu as passwords, so getting into accounts is extremely easy for trolls.
Yeah. Now,
what was the sex doll? Was the sex doll a boy or a girl? Just out of curiosity.
It was a girl. He is very straight.
Yeah.
Christine is a lesbian.
Yes.
So they are still straight.
So they're,
as Christine describes it, she is a female trapped in a lesbian female trapped in a male's body.
Yes.
And so the objective of the love quest has not changed, even though that happened.
Do they drive a Subaru? Just out of curiosity.
Wow. Yeah. No, I don't know if they drive. They drive a minivan, don't they? They did. They did drive a minivan at some point with a license plate that says Sonichu on it. So they are not hard to find if you're in the Ruckersville, Virginia area. I'm assuming that's where they are. This is not me doxing them, by the way. This is all public information. They've already doxed themselves.
Yeah, the house is called a place of worship on Google Maps, and there's various ratings by Muslims. So,
oh, I smell a road trip. Coming.
I honestly am down to go.
I know. Hey, we looked at the map, and it's a little closer than I thought it was. So,
like what, 8 hours, 6 hours, or something?
A little bit less than. No, it's not 8 hours. It's less than 8. It's like it's 6 something. But still,
let's do it.
That's like
a weekend trip.
That's like
do a little pilgrimage. I like it.
Atlanta's a lot closer. I
have family. I have family in Virginia, so I will fly in there. I will rent a Subaru, and then we can all just drive around and see if we can find it. Wow.
Well, now we know the new address, because it's a long story. Oh man, I have this to just like jump forward, but we got to get through this. Megan Schroeder.
I feel very bad for this girl. She seems like a normal person. And we also share her name, so camaraderie. In 2005, ChrisChan met this person, Megan Schroeder, at a local game store. So she was into things like anime and video games. I actually can relate. I'm a huge video game anime nerd. And apparently this girl was into Sailor Moon, and so am I. So I'm just like, oh no, what is going on
This is
here?
bad, yeah.
Is this like my alternate, like, I don't know.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. But they became friends because she was willing to talk to him for more than 5 minutes. So they became close friends. Megan claimed to have recently had a bad breakup and refused Chris's romantic advances. She was not interested in that. She just wanted to be his friend. So Chris based his stance on studying women in porn and anime, believed that the turning Megan's platonic feelings romantic was to make inappropriate advances towards her until she had to tell him to stop touching her. So he just sexually harassed this girl frequently, and she
Bad
is so
touch.
patient.
Bad
with him.
touch. Bad touch.
Very bad touch.
God.
Like,
This is going to be a
so-
recurring theme.
yes, she's written him multiple emails stating to please stop touching me, please being inappropriate with me. She just wants to be friends. She was like trying to give him a chance of just being a friend with her, like, you know, just trying to have just a normal friendship, and he was just crossing the lines. It's just like no self-awareness there, because again, ChrisChan is just very immature when it comes to a lot of things.
Yeah,
most
actually,
things.
yeah.
Because this is very, it's just this part makes me feel icky, because this girl is just trying to be nice to him.
Mhm.
And so at one point there was some trolling that happened, and there was a Sonichu comic, like an episode of this where it's ChrisChan, because the Sonichu comments are not always wholesome. They actually get pretty graphic at
are
some
you
points.
talking about what she got mad about?
Yes.
Okay. So that was a separate thing. It wasn't, I don't believe it was in an episode, but you may be right. You go ahead and tell.
So there was a point where I don't know if he was trying to prove something.
Oh,
because
God,
again,
yes. He was trying to
so
prove he was straight.
Yeah, he was trying to prove he was straight. That's right. He was being accused, like trolls were saying he was gay, and he couldn't stand it. And they were also making him or convincing him to create videos because there's various fake girlfriends involved. These girls, or just like people that don't actually exist, who make him believe that he's in a relationship with one of these people. And then someone says they've kidnapped this girl and is threatening to kill them if he doesn't like say he's gay in a video. There's a lot of this stuff happening.
What?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really bad. So he's very gullible. So he believes like a lot of these girlfriends, these internet trolls that were posing as these fake girls. There's like a lot of catfishing. Were going to be like killed, or one died in like a car accident. One died in like some other crazy accident. Lilly, I don't know if you know, it was like a snowmobile accident or something just off the wall. I can't remember what it
I
was.
don't
And he
remember
completely
that.
believed that these people died. He turned on his PlayStation Eye camera and was crying over such and so dying, or it's over. They broke it up with me. I put in listener hangout room what Chris drew that drove Megan to completely cut him off.
Yes. So in this image,
What the?
he
Why? Why?
he's trying to prove he's straight, and
Oh my
he draws this image of ChrisChan here. It's not Sonichu, it's ChrisChan naked, finger banging a unknown woman, who happens to look a lot like Megan Schroeder.
And you
I
can
will
tell
also-
it's ChrisChan because look at the pendant. That's Sonichu right there.
and he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But is that like,
bro.
is he? Is
He's-
I
is
don't know what's going on. There's
I-
a lot of
Is that
there's
a-
like a flat.
is that a
and-
washcloth or is it like?
No, I think he's no.
I think that's liquid.
Yeah, he's finger blasting her. She's.
Oh,
It's so bad. So that's why I
today- I am living my best life. Thank you so much for this. Oh my god,
Tina, you get it. You get it now.
Merry Christmas.
I love the thumbs up. Look at me. I like vagina.
Yeah, he
Wow.
had to prove he was straight because in these video uploads, which again, listeners, you can go. There's whole documentaries that are
Oh, and
really
that's not a
detailed from
that's not
start
a-
to finish.
that's not a fingernail. That's the little man in the canoe, isn't it? Wow.
So
Very detailed. Very detailed.
yeah, it's super. It's crazy. So, Megan Schroeder saw this, and this is, I believe, the point where she cut off contact with him because, you know, he
fucking
tried to
wonder
say it
why.
wasn't her, but I think he eventually admitted it's inspired by her.
Oh no, I think it was a. Yeah,
was just
that's
her.
yeah.
He didn't directly say it, but it's pretty clear, and that's why I feel for this girl because she was just trying to be nice to him, and
She
like
got
that was like
traumatized.
one of the few, maybe genuine people in his life that would have been a friend. And it just kind of ruined that for himself.
Oh,
you
this
know.
is like energetic stalking on a whole new level. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
document you
But-
in a cartoon, and by the way, I'm finger blasting you.
And giving a
But
thumbs up.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. ChrisChan could care less what girl was interested in him. He doesn't really get too attached to people. Because these girlfriends that have quote unquote died, he would move on pretty quickly. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
Mhm.
very quickly, and then it
Yeah,
would be
sometimes
someone
he would
else.
take multiple at the
Yes,
same
yeah,
time.
he's been caught cheating with multiple fake people.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's pretty rough.
There are audio calls that have been recorded where a troll girlfriend will pop in to the chat, which was all orchestrated, to another troll girlfriend that he was seeing on the side, and then this fake argument, and he would just be like, "Oh boy," and he would just like log off or get. Also, so this is
Anyway.
not or anyway. So this is not. This is also he also proved his straightness other way. He like made videos where he's holding up a Playboy. What are the other ones?
I guess would it be the sex dolls? Were those to
So
prove that he
eventually-
was straight, or is that just
I think
them
no, no, no.
asking
Oh.
him?
So no, okay. So the sex tapes in this era came about because the women were asking him what he would do to them, and they wanted him to go into detail. So he gets pretty freaky when he's left to his own devices, when it's like up to him to come up with the nightly routine. There's a video of him mixing his semen into Fanta and drinking it because he, quote, does not want any of his children to die, and so he recycles them. Though there's a whole where you can watch him just come.
He's done a lot of stuff.
He also has had
God.
crazy sex position videos with blow up doll to show Julie, where he's smacking it around and 69, and it's a whole event. What else does he do? I mean,
Does he ever stop and go, "I'd fuck me"? That's got to be in there somewhere. Holy shit!
I feel like there have been a Buffalo Bill cross at some point, because there was something going on where someone made a joke and he's like, put the lotion in, and then he blah 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 blah, but he didn't even finish the quote.
Oh my God.
He's got to
Hold on.
He has to have at least one lampshade made of human skin. He
I'm
has
gonna
to.
put the ChrisChan
There's-
away so I don't spill anything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. some treasures. Here's the Fanta,
Oh my
still from
God.
the Fanta video.
Oh no.
That's
Um,
vile.
One last look at the
Oh.
beautiful ChrisChan art. An
The
original
jailhouse.
piece.
The jailhouse. Like, how did you even get that? I mean, did you
So
visit?
he was in
and that was
jail.
the payment, or I mean,
The what?
no. Did you visit him in jail and that was your payment, or I mean, what?
Oh,
I don't.
no. So she actually noticed that all the medallions in the little square frame were made from styrofoam. They were cut out with a ballpoint pen. The styrofoam little insignias, and then there was a little sketch that he did of his cross, the CPU blue heart, and the everything else he's gotten going on. He's got a whole religion that is based on the C130
I don't
the
even know.
C137 dimensional merge, where so according to Christine, she believes that the dimensional merge. So you've got Sonichu and all the Cwcville characters that live in C132, and the dimensional merge is Nye, and that Christine Jesus Christ Weston Chandler Prime is the savior reincarnate, and is
Makes sense.
is going and Sonichu and all of these different beings from C137 are constantly possessing in and out. So there was an entire year where Christine was Sonichu, because Sonichu was possessing her body.
I don't know
As
if
you
Dory said
do.
this.
As you do.
It's just like all these like characters from different franchises, like cartoon characters that exist in another, like they're real, is pretty much what I've gathered from it. That these characters are real and their dimension is merging with ours. ChrisChan is very, very imaginative. It reminds me of using imagination in childhood, and just really believing something. And that died out before like middle school. So it's
Oh my God.
Okay,
it's really
stop. Okay, in the last 5 minutes, you have ruined orange soda and finger blasting for me. Stop.
That's a lot of man.
I didn't see what you
Two things I thoroughly enjoyed up until tonight. Now they're just gone. Thank you.
That is a lot of man. Oh damn. Okay.
Well, I mean, do what you're gonna do, but God,
I love the medallion bite that you put up, Lily.
Oh
What the
my
fuck is-
god.
What is that thing? It looks like a half a human corpse, like cut in half, like
It's
longitudinally.
it's like a
An anime. I
Like,
think
I
it's
can
like an
see-
anime girl. Honestly,
What?
good
Oh,
taste,
that's his
ChrisChan.
hands.
I'm just kidding.
I thought that was
God.
lungs. I just, oh my, ugh.
oh man.
Yeah,
God, I'm glad I
there's a
didn't eat
lot.
tonight. Whew.
There's a lot of ChrisChan. A lot of just
There's a
intimate
lot of-
moments.
There's just a lot of ChrisChan. How about we'll just stop there?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Actually- I didn't. The pointed something out that I cannot unsee. He said that this is quote. He looks kind of like a cartoon version of Benjamin Franklin come to life, and I cannot unsee that now. It's I never have heard that. That's a new one for me. And then when I
beautiful.
think about the current state of ChrisChan, I'm like, huh, yeah, I could see that. So
I mean during the Grindhouse is even there.
he's had too much of ChrisChan.
Oh man. Okay. All right. So we're in the midst of the love quest. Let's get Liquid Chris off the table here for a second.
Best troll.
Okay. First off, I want to say
Hands down.
yeah, I'm with Lily. Favorite troll of this whole thing, because like he was a troll that was decent. Like, you know, this didn't result in like upload a sex tape or whatever. It was basically just busting his chops And it was okay. So it started with this guy uploading videos saying that he was the real Christian Weston Chandler.
It was the true and honest.
The true and honest. And he had a paper cutout of the Sonichu medallion chest, dressed just like Chris. And I still can't believe, I was mentioning to her the other day, what's so strange about the way Christine talks is there is this
there's like a cadence.
It changes in pitch all the time. It's a very
just...
what?
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say it's just so hard to pinpoint their, almost accent. It's just it's a lot.
It has that Virginia accent. It has very high pitched falsetto, and then the longer he talks, the deeper it gets. And then when there's a period and then the start of the next sentence, it goes right back up like this. And it's the inflections are just out of this world how they speak. So Liquid Chris just did this the best impression I've ever heard ever. And
now,
was like,
maybe someone doesn't know in the audience where the name Liquid Chris came from.
Okay, so these videos go on for a while, but
I think I'm starting to get it where Liquid Chris came from.
Yeah, so Liquid Chris is after all of this is going on for a while, it was a to Metal Gear Solid, the Twin Snakes. You've got Liquid Snake and Solid Snake, two twins forever at each other's throats. So there's where that reference comes from. And Lilly, I know this is your favorite troll, so you jump in whenever you want.
Thanks.
But there is a series of I'm the true Christian Weston Chandler, and this guy is imitating me and blah blah blah, and it got down to like Guitar Hero sing-offs, didn't it?
Yes, it's just at first it was just quick clips of I'm the true and honest ChrisChan, and for this reason because I went to this college, I went to this high school, and that's why I am him. And then of course ChrisChan would reply. And it would just be this childish kind of temper tantrum of, no, I am the real ChrisChan. Look at my ID. Look, it's me. I have pictures from, family photos and etc. And it evolved to songs. And Liquid Chris would pick up a guitar and just do a cover of one of ChrisChan's songs. And of course, it would sound like an actual human had recorded that. So it would be funny because you would get the rage just what's the word? Unalterated rage of ChrisChan, just not computing that he's feeding into this madness by simply turning on his camera and recording a reply. And I don't think he really understood why that took so long to die down. It was his own fault. He was doing this to himself. But I think the reason why Liquid Chris is my favorite troll is because it wasn't anything nefarious, cruel, evil that he was doing. It was more funny. It was hilarious. And granted, it's not funny to make fun of someone with a disability, but ChrisChan is just so unable to take a step back and just be like, what the fuck am I doing replying to this guy? Trying to assert that I am the real me. That's nonsense. And
at this point, ChrisChan was already in his mid to late 20s.
Yes,
so they're not like
he's
an
child. Adult. Agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah. But
their brain is developed at this point.
Well, as far as it's gonna go, let's just say that.
Yeah.
But that's the point that I really like is that it's just he's funny, but he's not cruel. To my knowledge, he didn't get him naked, humping a sex doll or anything like that, trying to shove anything anywhere or drink whatever came out of anywhere. I think that's why Liquid Chris is my favorite.
Yeah, and Liquid Chris actually, they're a doctor now.
Yeah.
No way.
They're a doctor, a research, they're a cancer researcher. So
yeah, they have grown up.
I've wondered if that's ever come up
Where have they
he's like
been? Yeah.
if they're like a, so this is another layer to the whole Liquid Chris saga. It's actually two identical twins that are brothers.
I did not
And-
know that.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so
The layers get so
they would trade
Right?
off.
so many layers.
They would trade off on who was Chris at the time, and so they start escalating, and this is two, because the Dark Knight comes out, and so after Chris is just like, ah! And also he started doing this thing which I love. Whenever he would be like really real with his audience, Chris would whip off his scarf. He's like, look, and then he would like do this thing, but he would always do the glasses with. Hey, this guy, I don't know what he's been saying, but blah blah blah, and he would just go off on Liquid Chris. And then so they decide, Chris decides to go, okay, we're going to have a song contest, and to prove who is the real true ChrisChan. And so they do these covers, and so Chris is like sitting there with like the radio on, and is like closing his eyes and singing whatever song it was that he was singing. And then Liquid Chris gets on with a guitar, which he's like classically trained. So he's like doing this beautiful like Pearl Jam cover or whatever. And he always one-ups him. And then every single time he one-ups him, Chris like changes the rules. He's like, you can't do, and then he did the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which was like a hilarious rendition. He did the whole thing. And then another of him changing the rules, like after it's done, he's like, you can't use theme songs, which was never stipulated. He just he just couldn't handle that he was better at anything. So as this is escalating, a video is uploaded to Liquid Chris's channel, and it's basically that scene in the he's like, who do you think you are? He's like, well, I'm supposed to stand up to people like you. I have hope. And he's like, what's this? He's like messing with the medallion. He's like, it's a symbol. And so like the claim is that the real Chris kidnapped Liquid Chris, or like the one we know is the real Chris, and was the guy behind the camera like and was doing all of this stuff like verbatim the Dark Knight scene, and it was great. So Chris uploads a thing. He's like, first off, I did not kidnap him. I would upload it to my channel. I wouldn't upload it to his. That doesn't make any sense.
The only rebuttal.
He goes through this whole list of how it couldn't be him, and then so at this time, Liquid Chris is about to, the way it ends was so classy. He's talking about how he's finally going to college, and he was really about to go into college. So he goes to college, and he's like, but to my true fans, I'll keep you apprised of Sonichu and everything. And then he puts on "We'll Meet Again," and then he just walks out of the room. and I mean, it was just great. And real Chris couldn't handle any of it. It was just perfect.
Solid Chris.
Yeah, solid Chris could not handle it.
So in this one of those videos where he's like raging against this Liquid Chris, I believe it was this video, he's like throwing a huge tantrum, and he is like listing off the reason why he's Chris, and that's when he like boxes himself. He has full address.
Yes, that's it.
Doesn't
He's
Bob
like, I'm the real Christian Russell Chandler, 405, blah, 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 blah. And he's like holding up like tax documents and
yeah, and like I believe his father Bob comes in at this point.
Yes, okay, so
I think he does.
It was one of these points. There's a few times he's had a freak out, but you're probably right. So Bob walks in because Chris is screaming at the top of his lungs at his camera, and he's like, hey, you know how like those old guys when they get mad, they're like, you listen to me. You hear me? You listen to me. Talks real slow but deliberate. And he's like, do you realize all that stuff you put on the internet is going to cause, listen to me, it's going to cause Greene County to come and close down because it's an unsafe environment. So backstory, because we kind of glossed over this. Chris's mom is like an extreme hoarder. to where it caused the house to eventually burn. So she was packing just stuff to where they could barely move. So Chris and Bob decide to get serious about this and clean and dump everything out. Barb threatens to kill herself while all this is happening, so they back off the cleaning of the house thing.
She'll do that often. She's
Bob
very
dies,
manipulative.
and then it just gets progressively worse until the house burns. So
Yeah, and this again, ChrisChan. It seems like they were set up for fear from the get-go. The parents aren't that great.
Yeah.
Just the environment is not great. You know, maybe things could have turned out differently if the parents had been, I don't know. Like, that's where like I start to feel for ChrisChan, because I'm just like, damn,
Yeah.
this person's been dealt with the shittiest cards. But then they also have asked for a lot of this stuff, and they've done a lot of this themselves. So it's like,
I think that
Well, that's the
they
hard
had
part.
no interaction or guidance with interacting with people. For instance, like it was kind of like Bob could not handle, like Bob had all these dreams. Like he made this shop where he was going to teach Chris all this stuff. Bob had all this vision, and clearly he eventually checked out because like Chris just has no ability to learn from anything unless he's like hyper focused on it, like Sonichu, like alternate reality. He'll focus on that, nothing else. So Bob just kind of just checked out eventually. One of the things that is like, okay, so one of the trolls that we did not cover was the Pickle Man. So Chris is talking with this girl online, and she's very interested in Chris. So the plan is that
Emily
they meet
girl?
up at what is the mall called?
Fashion Square Shopping.
Fashion Square Shopping Mall. I gotta visit this mall.
Was it that Emily girl?
This is, it's like a historic mall. So this girl shows up. Now, unbeknownst to him, there is a guy troll that's like controlling all the narrative of this. So she's told him to go there and talk to him and have a date.
Bob there.
Yes, but so Bob shows up too. Bob is like basically a chaperone.
This is before Bob dies. This is Chris's dad.
Yes.
Before he dies, he's chaperoning the date because ChrisChan can just not be trusted in these kind of settings.
Mid-20s Chris
I was gonna say, how old is he
at
now?
the mall with his elderly dad at this point.
They may not be able to hear us.
Having this date. And so
wait,
the troll,
guys,
I don't think you can hear us. Can you hear us?
guys, hello.
good catch. So did we cut out, or did?
Well, I think you can't hear us. I was asking about what age he was, but you were answering as I was asking.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Every now and then,
that's fine. Yeah.
I asked if it was about the Emily girl.
it might be.
I think it was Emily.
Mhm.
So they get to the mall. The troll is filming at the food court this whole thing. So there's Bob, Chris, and the girl. They're just, but it was Bob does most of the talking, which is like, that's why my mind goes that. It's like I don't know if the training wheels were ever taken off. Like granted, there is some some disadvantages there by default. I can't help but think if things were a little different that it could have turned out differently. But anyway, that's her. Emily.
It was Emily, by the way, Lily.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So as this whole thing progresses, and this whole thing goes according to plan, this was pre-written. So he's walking, and first off, can't keep his hands off her, and is like just complimenting her body. It's just like high levels of cringe. Then she gets down, they get down to the foyer, and there's this guy in a pickle costume that comes up. And what's the pickle guy's name?
Jack,
Clyde?
Jeff,
Clyde Cash. Is that Clyde Cash?
Clyde.
Yeah. Or no, he loves Clyde. I'm sorry. The Pickle Man is
Fuck. What was his name?
it's a troll posing as Blanca, but the troll Marvin is the Pickle
Yes.
Man.
So
oh my god.
so this
so many layers.
so this pickle
guys.
man approaches Emily, starts chatting, and she's like, "Ha, really?" And she's like super into the pickle guy. So then he's like, "Hey, you want to catch a movie?" And then she's like, "Yeah." And and Chris is like, "Well, what, you gonna go?" And she's like, "Yeah, you just really weren't that interesting and blah blah blah, and I'm gonna go with the pickle guy." And so the pickle guy steals his woman away from him, and so the pickle guy wound up in a comic. He hated. I thought that Clyde Cash was the one that was supposedly behind that, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just like what we've discussed right now. You got to realize there's like 15 other things like this that we haven't even covered, and now that we're getting close to we were getting close to the fire. Okay, so the fire happens, but Bob's gone. The fire happens, and they're displaced temporarily. And this is kind of a weird foreshadowing because apparently Barb sometimes made Chris sleep with her because she had like
Quote
severe
unquote
panic.
sleep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Panic attacks and things like that, especially after Bob died, and she just couldn't handle being alone. So often she would call Chris in. So we're getting to kind of modern, but I guess we need to talk about the transition.
I don't know when the transition happened.
The transition happened while Bob was alive. Because
it did? No, but Bob passed in 2011.
But Chris started wearing hair longer, was uploading photos in makeup and different types of feminine clothes, and he kept that kind of under wraps because Bob would have had a huge issue with it.
Transgender era.
And
2014.
And then Bob died. Because I've heard specifically that there were showings of this while Bob was alive, like right towards the end.
It's let's see here. It seems like it really started in 2014. In August 2014, ChrisChan began identifying as lesbian, and then in December 2014, ChrisChan told those that they were close to that they would like to start using female pronouns. Mm-hmm. And during this point, and I don't know if anybody remembers this happening, like being shown in the news. I remember it because I was like, dang, that's ChrisChan. ChrisChan was filmed assaulting an employee at a GameStop because they were extremely upset about the new Sonic game that had just come out.
And Sonic's arms were white in it.
No, they were blue. Sonic's arms
they were fully blue. And
were blue, yes, but not supposed to be blue according to hardcore Sonic fans, because ChrisChan's not the only one who's gotten upset about this.
So he went into the GameStop and maced the GameStop employee, screaming that Sonic's arms aren't blue.
Now, it's because the employee was trying to get him to leave because he was like knocking it down, like, or getting pissed off at the this new Sonic game that came out. I think it was Sonic Boom. I'm not really sure. And then
he was doing stuff to initiate.
Yeah, so the ChrisChan felt that I guess they were in danger and maced the employee, and now has been banned from that GameStop. And they might have been banned before that, but I'm not totally sure.
Lord.
But in 2014 is when ChrisChan transitions at some point to Christine Weston Chandler. So now they are identifying as female, a lesbian. Let's not forget that they do not they are still straight.
Still likes the ladies, right?
But not straight because they're a lesbian. It's very now, I don't know, Lily, if you want to touch on, after the transition, the most recent thing, which is the big thing that we're leading up to. Also, this point, I believe, is when and you touch on this before.
Oh yeah, okay. So I wrote this down earlier because this was like my kind of first exposure to the transition. Christine was starting to get estrogen creams and I think estradiol and there was something else, but it was like ordered on questionable sites. It wasn't like prescription or issued. So there was this moment where Christine started to cut the taint wound. They started to cut into the taint to because the labia was blooming, and so those pictures eventually like surfaced, and I don't know why, like if you were doing that, why you would
okay,
post that,
so
but-
bizarre.
time out here. I have a couple of questions. So
Sorry, before you do, I might take this
Yeah.
time. I really want to keep talking about this, but I'm getting so tired.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Do you want to touch?
do you want to do the honor for an event? Oh, do you want to hold your questions afterwards? And then so now that we're in this era, you can go ahead.
Drop
The A bomb.
Yeah.
Drop it. One of the most infamous recent trolls of ChrisChan, by the name of Isabella Jenke. She's a whole pit of despair herself. She started to talk with Chris, I think, in the early 2017, 2016 is when they started to talk and meet. I think they met at a con, and she quote unquote befriended Chris. They became really close friends, and she would ask him a lot of questions as to the type of relationship that he had with his mom and just how he coped in general with his life. I know I have a very solemn tone right now, but it's only because I'm tired. I promise it's not funny as hell, but it's kind of funny.
It's a pretty intense situation.
Yeah. It ended up being known by, unfortunately, most of the internet that ChrisChan had entertained a very close, intimate relationship with an older woman that they were really close with. And it was very easy to put two and two together since they'd been so close to their mom, Barb, by then widowed from Bob, and just lonely lady that I want to say he took advantage of her, even if she was in her later age, not as able, and she didn't have maybe all of her faculties, but I do believe he took advantage of that, and it's very much implied that they had some sort of very intimate relationship. I don't want to say it. It's too gross, man.
he banged his
He
mom.
fucked
just
his
say it.
mom.
He
Yeah,
banged
he
her.
did.
Yep.
He did. He did the nasty with the mom. He did. He
Finger blasted mom. Great. Well, okay.
did. No drawing of that.
And
Thank
then-
God.
Well,
Then that started
Oh my
the jail era.
Yes.
And while Christine was being arrested, they were ranting up at the top of this balcony that this person was filming while being put into the police car that the dimensional merge is still happening.
There is a video of
and-
that. Look it up on YouTube. You
Yeah.
can literally see from like a little bit afar, you can see this strange character with long hair. I think their hair is blue or greenish, some sort of color.
Blue, I believe.
Right? And they're getting escorted by the cops, pushed into a car, and it's so bizarre. It just looks like something right out of the Sonichu comics, to be honest with you. It is so strange to see that. I do recommend before I leave to have peaceful nightmares, I guess. Do look up Isabella Jenke. She is a vile human. She's so young and she's done already so much wrong. She is a bully. She is, I want to say alleged an animal abuser, but I think it's been pretty much proven. And she didn't encourage Chris for on this nasty, vile behavior, but she didn't exactly prevent it. So I do think she has some kind of responsibility to what happened to rest in peace Barb.
Oh no, she's still alive. Barb is still alive.
Barb is still she is
Yeah,
not.
she's at the Sonichu temple right now. I mean,
What?
like literally, that's where she's been
What?
relocated.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm assuming Christine no longer lives with Barb.
No, in fact, we
Aw.
know where Christine lives now because the address was leaked. Apartment complex.
Oh my goodness!
And
I totally thought she died.
No, Bob
No.
is the only one who's died. Barb at this point is, I
Oh.
believe it said 82 years old, and the Quickie states that they cannot confirm if Barb actually has dementia or not. But Barb, I
Oh.
believe, throughout her life has shown some pretty severe mental illness.
Yeah.
So
I think the whole family is severely mentally
Yeah.
ill.
yeah, like
Well,
'cause
hopefully-
Barb has another son from the
Mhm.
previous marriage.
Older,
and
right?
They have,
Yeah.
yeah,
They have claims of abuse too. Yeah.
and they do
Oh
not
my-
want to have anything to do with Barb.
Fuck.
So ChrisChan has just been set up from failure at birth with the parents that were.
And that's the only thing I wanted to preface. I know the bombshell of mom relationship is insane, but there's some questionable activity on her end. That there's like a whole deep dive there, and I'm just saying, like, at me personally, I'm not. I mean, first off, it seems like everybody's at fault, but there's some stuff to blame on the other side of the fence as well as Christine's.
Most people involved most people involved with Christery are not innocent of anything. I mean, there are definitely some people who are innocent, like the Megan Schroeder, for example, Mary Lee Walsh doing her job, those kind of people. But like most people involved in ChrisChan's life are not super squeaky clean, pure intentions.
Yeah,
There's just a lot of negative stuff happening.
yeah.
But ChrisChan invites it in because they are very gullible. They fully admitted to the Barb thing to this Isabella Janky person who is absolute trash. I do not mind saying that. 'Cause
My
actually,
God.
I will bully that person. That person is not cool in my book.
Well, but you know, honestly, I sit and think about this, and I think about the people that trolled this person early on. And now, don't get me wrong, I think this person is ultimately a little pathetic, just in general. But then I think about the level of patheticness that it takes to bully a already pathetic person, and that's even more pathetic.
It is.
So, like, why take somebody that already has some obvious problems and fuck with them more? Like, I don't get the rationale behind it. Like, what that would give you as a person. Like, I in general don't like fucking with people, but when someone's like this far gone, like, why make it worse? There's some
Agreed.
twisted shit here. There's some twisted shit, and I don't.
There is.
I'm in such a loss here. I just I don't.
There's a really famous troll, Blue Spike, who at the time was pretending to be a girl and like sexting with ChrisChan. This was like in I guess right around the time right before Liquid. So right
2007 or 2010.
and this Blue Spike person turned out to actually be a 13-year-old boy, and ChrisChan had no idea, like no clue, because this person's not giving any indication that they are, you know, any like I don't know what I can't remember what they sounded like. It was pretty clear and it was pretty obvious they didn't sound like a girl. But ChrisChan again is so gullible, and I say that like I don't know, it's just crazy, and I'm just like, where was this kid's parent? But then I'm like, well, during that time I didn't have, you know, I was like a teenager, I think, when this particular thing was happening, and it's just
yeah. I mean, but at the same time, though, for whatever the reason or whatever the goal, to like take a fellow human being and fuck with them because you can, I mean, it's wrong on a lot of levels. Now, you know, if somebody has some problems or some issues, whatever else, I mean, I might be the first one to say that, like, I think people have to be responsible for themselves, and if you can't be responsible for yourself, you know what, just go jump in a river. I mean, people just need to, we have to live in a society where you can sustain yourself, and if you can't, well then that's an obvious problem. At the same time, though, to take somebody like that and to fuck with them, like, just more, like, I don't get the drive behind that. Like, I don't get it. Like, why make someone's life worse? Like, why? It just doesn't make any sense.
What's crazy is ChrisChan was at this point already like close to 40 when this last troll happened. They were arrested in 2021 and they were released sometime right at the end of summer.
Chris?
Yeah, Chris.
You mean the recent arrest?
Yes.
Oh, no, that was a few months ago.
Yeah, they were released. I'm saying they were arrested in 2021.
Yes.
So they were just recently released from prison, or from being incarcerated. So I'm saying that troll Isabella Janke.
Oh, I thought you meant the troll arrest.
Yeah, no, that's that ChrisChan, like, already close to 40, on the cusp of 40, was still being trolled, and it's just like, that's where I feel for this person. It's just like they can't catch a break. But again, they fucked their mom, so I don't know. Like,
it's some sort of
I would
karmic
like to think
justice.
It's not
I don't
true,
know.
And excuse my foul language.
Their elderly mom.
Yeah, I mean, Barb is in her 80s, her early 80s at this point. She was 80, I guess, when this happened. She's 82 now, so it's pretty rough stuff. Also, I do want to point out one fact before you go, Lily. ChrisChan lost their virginity in 2012 to a prostitute.
Yeah.
So they are no longer a virgin with rage, and
I'm
obviously
have
they've
some lovely
now,
dreams about that.
Yeah, there you go. Merry Christmas.
That's just being
Happy
a job
holidays.
creator. That's all that is being a job creator. You know what? We all gotta have a way to make a living. So that doesn't
Something like
bother me at all.
that. Something like
Mad
that.
respect to that prostitute. Okay, sex work is real work, y'all.
Can you imagine a world where prostitution was legal and you got like health benefits and like paid sick days? I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, like, if I wake up one day and like, hey, honey, and she's like, no, well, I'm gonna go down the block to the and it would just be okay.
I think in Japan they do something, not prostitutes, but there is that's another thing. That's something else.
A little bit of a different social norm.
Yeah, there's something that kind of encourages that.
In Japan, it's that's the whole BNA. What is the word that
Maybe
they
that
use?
can be that's effing weird episode. I don't know if that's like
abso-fucking-lutely it would be.
Because it's like another culture, different.
No, but being in Japan, that's a very normal thing. Being a hostess, that's what it is. Being a hostess.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, on that lovely note, bye guys. Happy holidays.
Bye. Happy holidays.
All right.
Bye.
Happy holidays, Lily.
Thanks, you too.
Well,
You have any questions?
Do I have any? Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, it's more a function of I don't think we have time for all the questions I have. At the same time, it's like, okay, so you've got somebody who clearly has a mental illness. If you don't see that, then I mean, come on, wake up.
Agreed.
But somebody who's clearly narcissistic, somebody who's got a very dissociative personality. I don't want to paint myself into a corner where I'm like, but if only we could help them, because I mean, there's people that can't be helped. That's just how things are. This whole thing, holy shit. I mean, I would love to say that there's a piece of me that like tries to, or like even wants to understand this. Like, I don't, because like because I could rabbit hole this and just be stuck for days just going, but what if, and I don't think it's possible. I don't want to bash another person just for their existence. But there's a point where you come home and you just unplug your internet router and you just don't engage anymore. And once you choose to do that and you let the dust settle, I think you can throw off your frilly cloak and you can be somebody else, right? But But if you're going to do that, you have to not plug the internet back in. And when you do that, you're just inviting all kinds of trouble. I mean, and when you make yourself a target, you can't be surprised when you get shot, right? I mean, it's just so. Right. I don't know what or why somebody would engage in this, like actively, like participate in your own demise. But if you're going to do it, then you get what you get.
Yeah, agreed. Don't know why they can. I mean, I think they've learned their lesson after being in jail, because it seems like their demeanor is very different now with how they interact with their face. There are ChrisChan fans, and there's also still people trying to troll ChrisChan. We saw it on a live stream, people asking about Barb.
Yeah,
and
Christine like shuts it down now. Like, also, if someone comes up in public with a camera, no comment, no pictures, pretty much a shutdown, which I would expect after this many years.
Well, what was the jail for, though? What was the jail actually for?
Okay, the charge. What was the charge?
Incest.
Yeah, it was, but there was more. There was like a readout.
Yeah.
But I mean, was it literally one of those things where you walk into the cell block and someone says, "What are you in here for?" And it's like, "I banged my mom." I mean, I doesn't seem like you'd survive very long if that was the case.
There was Christine was put in a separate wing of the prison, separated, which I would imagine after the psychiatric evaluation we talked about earlier, they were like, this person can't be in general population. Like that's. Yeah.
Which makes sense. There's clearly some deficiencies here.
But the official charges in incest. And let's see. You can go on there online. There is actual like mugshot and printout of the sheriff's department and all the charges. Virginia court case information. This one's blurry. Felony charge. But yeah, I mean, this is a whole sheet. But you can, charge incest with own child or they have these umbrella terms, but that's what it's for. It was a child parental relationship, and they just have that term there. But
so the umbrella term is fucking gross, is what it is. Just fucking gross. Okay. Well, what's interesting is towards the end, the charges were dropped. So that's what's such a mystery, and people have been trying to get information on what exactly that means. Was he considered mentally, like something like got off on some kind of mental thing? Was it did Barb speak up? Like, the stuff that I saw basically said that the complainant could not corroborate the whole thing because of a mental deficiency. So I'm guessing the mom is probably in some stage of dementia or something like that, and could not give good testimony, which is, I hate to use the term, but it's kind of a vile way to get off. But yuck. Well,
but court couldn't line up everything, and they just, I mean, I would imagine keeping someone separate like that in a facility not designed like that would be, they were trying to figure out a way to solve this. If I had to guess, I don't know.
Well, and this was definitely past the point where they identified as something else. So there probably was a point where they were like, let's just get this person out of here so it's not our problem anymore.
Oh, yes. And that was the thing. Believe it or not, it wound up on Carlson describing this whole thing with the mother. And then, of course, it was used as a thing to incite viewers to be like, this whole, all your spares or your taxpaying dollars are going to someone that it was a whole political angle that was talked about, but he did make the news, which was very interesting. But in reality, he wasn't in general population. So I just don't know how that's all set up, because the claim that Christine has was that she was in solitary, which doesn't make any sense. It was just separate from the rest of the prison. So it's, for sure, Christine was not in solitary confinement for a year. That's ridiculous.
I just,
yeah,
I don't know how they normally handle these types of cases with incest, especially when the child is doing the deed to the mother. It's usually no, I don't know. I don't know usually, actually. I don't want to know. I don't want to know anything.
Well, I would hope you don't know usually. Yeah, but I think I get what you're saying when it's the child perpetrating on the parent versus the other way.
Which is why they don't have like a name for it.
Yeah, it's
they probably went in and the prosecutor went, "What?"
Yeah, you usually hear about a parent assaulting a child. This is
as opposed to the other way around. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, well, I need a shower because this was yucky. And I'm a little disappointed we didn't get to cake farts. I wanted to talk about cake farts, but that's too bad we didn't get there.
Cake farts?
What?
Is this a ChrisChan error?
Yeah, it was part of the whole humiliating videos thing where they talked about
that's right, the cake farts.
Was this part of the medallion?
Dude,
the
medallion getting chopped up, and there were so many. We watched so many documentaries.
So now you understand why we're like, what troll and what time and what, there's so much.
The quickie is insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. Good job on the quickie, but I've never seen a quickie devoted to one person, ever. Or a wiki, I'm sorry. I've never seen, I mean, I'm sure there are, but one this crazy. I feel like the Star Wars wiki, Wikipedia thing, it's like a, I don't know what it is. It's not Wikipedia, but I feel like it's not as detailed as ChrisChan.
No, you're right. There was an entire section dedicated to them counting how many miles were on his car when he wasn't changing the oil. It was way overdue for an oil change, and people were keeping track of that. And this was back in 2013 or something. It was insane. Just the level of information. This would be volumes in a book. If this was all, if the quickie was put into a book, it would be volumes.
They even have this day in Christory.
What happened
today in Christory in 2007? Chris abandoned his AOL profile, and there's more on that subject, I guess. And AOL. They also have the picture of the now, which I guess this is the one from today of ChrisChan picking up this person from the airport. Yeah, it was for this is on the 20th that it was uploaded, but there's people just uploading recent, here's the video of the now, which is today where ChrisChan was leaving the airport.
There's a now tracker. There's what's happening today
a
tracker.
Picture and a video. And then they say the last time there was a counter of when ChrisChan was either last seen in public or last uploaded. Yeah. It's almost a month.
And so somebody is still following this, and those people are only slightly sadder than ChrisChan himself.
There's so much dedication.
I mean, if you like it, you like it, but why commit your own personal time to going to the airport? And I
don't know. I don't know if this person just happened to be at the airport and they were a Christorian or a fan. Well, but it's pretty incredible.
I'm just sad that they ruined. Well, yeah, I'm still sad that they ruined the Korean pantyhose cake farts for me. There was a time in my life where I really liked those, but now it's ruined because it's associated with this. So no more cake farts for me. Damn.
Sorry we ruined that for you on Christmas of all times.
Well, and you've also ruined orange soda for me too. So thank you.
Orange soda is mid.
Well, it was mid, and now it's way on the random day where it's I'm gonna do. That's exactly what it is.
Oh man, those
audio,
audio recordings. Those audio recordings of her what are you gonna do, Chris? I'm gonna do stuff until I have my comeuppance. It's just unreal. It's so fun. I have so much fun with this. I'm glad that you guys listened. Thank you, and it was great having you on, Megan.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, this was the.
Yay!
I've never.
We're gonna have to hard. Oh, sorry.
I
Go
never wanted. I never want to take a shower after a podcast, so this is just weird. I don't.
I don't know. You fucked me up with the prions, man.
True.
But that's kind of like the point, though, right? Is to get somebody off there to put them back on their heels and get them like, And I am back on my heels right now. Holy shit! So, yeah. When I go upstairs, and my wife is like, "Well, when I go upstairs, my wife is like, what'd you guys talk about?" How the fuck am I even going to explain this? I
just put on the 5-hour ChrisChan documentary.
Seriously,
or there's a 3-hour one too.
Yeah.
Go for the 3-hour one.
21 minutes. There's a 20-minute like speed run video. I'll post it. You can just speed run it. And it talks about all of Chris 3 in 20 minutes.
I will need that.
If you
my
watch
wife was
the
a millennial,
videos,
so I'll need that. I'll need that because she's the attention span short. So yeah, I'll talk
Hey, I'm a millennial. You're a millennial.
if you just sit down and watch the golden era PlayStation 3 video uploads, they are so funny. I can't describe how funny it all is.
Well, I'm gonna need at least one scene of the orange soda because I just want to I want to see my wife just go, "Oh my god!" It's
Yep.
Yeah, and I've been watching it in the background. Some of the stuff in the background that's popped up, it's almost scarier than some of the things we've been talking about. Like this weird double middle finger, and this video is audio only. What? I don't. It was out of Post-it. Like what the? What are you doing? Yeah.
Anyway.
Interesting topic. I'm literally so creeped out. I want to go take a shower. I'm literally that creeped out. I need to bathe myself with this.
Oh, no, dropped the lore speed run. Channel is called Big Boy Meatloaf with a 0 in loaf. And it is called ChrisChan Full Lore Speed Run World Record. So anybody listening can just look that up if they don't want to digest a 5-hour or 3-hour, whatever, or an 80-part documentary. I'm being christened right now with the medallion.
I don't know if you see that Lilly put an obituary for Barb in the.
I know, and it's crazy because I swear she's still alive. So we're gonna have to.
Seriously?
Yeah, there's a whole obituary and it mentions Steen and.
All right. Well, for the listeners, I'm pretty sure Barb isn't dead, but apparently there's an obituary. I don't know what's going on.
We'll figure it out.
I don't know. Today, Christine's picking up people at the airport. Apparently, Barb's dead. I don't know what's going on.
It says that Barb died in July.
What?
Yeah, which I'm just like, that's not possible because ChrisChan mentions Barb.
Because Noel would be aware of the title, what's going on with the house.
Yeah.
We would, if that was the case, we would
I'm
have
sorry.
so much.
When you did that, you did that on the screen in the background. ChrisChan was doing the same thing. He went like,
I know.
That was flawless. Oh my god. Oh.
Oh
okay.
My gosh.
Well.
All righty.
Oh, this was wonderfully awkward, and I loved it. So,
I'm glad.
Things
Merry
to think
Christmas.
about. Yes. Next time, wrap it, okay? Because I saw what it was. Kind of ruined the surprise.
Do you need to do an outro?
Oh.
Well, thanks everybody for listening. Just remember, we don't want stuff that's normal. We want stuff that's effing weird.
Like ChrisChan.
Where have all the good men gone, and where are all the gods? Where's the streetwise Hercules to fight the rising odds? Isn't there a white knight upon the fiery steed? Late at night I toss and turn, I dream of what I need. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. He's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast and he's gotta be fresh from the fight. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light. He's gotta be short, and it's gotta be soon, and he's gotta be larger than life. Somewhere out after midnight in the wildest fantasy. Somewhere just beyond my reach, there's someone reaching back for me. Racing electric, catching dirt, and rising with the heat. It's gonna take a Superman to sweep me off my feet. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. He's gotta be strong, and he's gotta be fast, and he's gotta be fresh from the fight. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light. He's gotta be short, and it's gotta be soon, and he's gotta be larger than life. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. Where the mountain beats the heads up, where the lightning splits the sea, I would swear that there's someone somewhere watching me. Through the wind and the chill and the rain, and the storm and the flood, I can feel his approach like the fire in my blood. Fire in my blood. And a hero, I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. He's gotta be strong, and he's gotta be fast, and he's gotta be fresh from the fight. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light. He's gotta be short, and it's gotta be soon, and he's gotta be larger than life. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. He's gotta be strong, and he's gotta be fast, and he's gotta be fresh from the fight. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light. He's gotta be short, and it's gotta be soon, and he's gotta be larger than life. The hero. Hold out for a hero till the end of the night. She's gotta be strong, she's gotta be pure, and she's got to be fresh from the shop. I need a heroine. I'm holding out for my hero till the morning light. She's gotta be true, she's gotta be pretty, and she's got to be the sweetest thing in life. And her name be Ivy. Dedicated to her. I love you, Ivy.